Hey, it's Dan Gonzalez from Snapchat Filter Design, and I was just about to submit this Geofilter to Snapchat, and I thought might as well record it and share how I do it. I just designed my Geofilter in Adobe Illustrator, and I'm going to import it using File Open, or it's Open Recent for me. So I'm just going to open this one, and I choose Media Box, so it includes my dimensions from Adobe Illustrator. If you select a bounding box, it will actually crop the geofilter, and that's not something I want to do. So I'm going to do Media Box, and I'm going to set the width to 1880 pixels and then the height to 1920 pixels. Since I already defined this in Adobe Illustrator, when I selected 1880, it just went to 1920. And I'm going to keep 300 pixels per inch. I'm going to hit OK, and because I didn't have anything in the background except my geofilter, it is ready to go, and it has a transparent background. Now what I'm going to do is save it as a PNG. And in order to save it as a PNG, you need to select File, Export, and then Export As. Or you could do Command Option Shift W. So we have the geofilter here, and it has the checkerboard in the background, which is what you want to see to make sure that it is transparent, because that is a requirement. And you want it to be a PNG. You want to select this format to be PNG, not PNG 8 or PNG or JPEG. This is PNG 24 actually. So right now it just says PNG, but you want to make sure that is selected, and you want to make sure transparency is selected. And just double check again that is 1080 by 1920. And right here you want to just double check to make sure that this is under 300 kilobytes, because that is also a requirement for a geofilter. So at 69 kilobytes, we're pretty good. So I'm going to hit export. I'm going to go to desktop. I'm just going to save this. I already have one, but I'm going to save it again. Export, and then replace. So we should be good to go on that. So I'm going to minimize it, and then we're going to go over to the website to submit our geofilter. Also, you should have submission notes. I already have mine selected or typed out, but we'll get to that in a second. But you want to make sure that you have that ready as well. So we're going to go to snapchat.com/geofilters to submit our geofilter. And there is a community option, and then there's an on-demand option. Community is basically the geofilters you see that are constantly there, while on-demand are pretty much temporary. These ones are paid for as well. So depending on what you're designing for, you may want to decide either an on-demand or a community geofilter. Since mine is for a university, mine's going to be a community geofilter. So I'm going to select community. Although on-demand geofilters submission process is about the same as far as what you do. And here we have 3 images with just geofilter tips. We already saved it for web. We saved it with transparency, and we saved it as a PNG 24. The PNG should have a width of 1800 by 1920, which we did that, and it's under 300 kilobytes. So we're going to select next. So it's going to ask you whether you want Snapchat to access your location. I choose don't allow, but you could choose allow if you want. It's worked for me to choose don't allow, so either way is fine. Then you're going to want to search your location. You could either type the name or the zip code, and it should work. Then you should find yours. It should pop up. I'm going to zoom out, And as you can see, this is Purdue University, and I'm going to narrow in on a specific part of the university. So now that I'm in the area that I want, I'm going to select my geofilter and upload it. And this is it. So we're going to select that. It will give you a preview of what it will look like. And as you can see, this is the Purdue arc, and this area actually is where that Purdue arc is actually located. So this is very relevant to the area, and it's just very important to make sure that it is relevant, because it's something that Snapchat often denies geofilters, because it's not really specific enough. So just be aware of that and just try not to go too broad with it. The narrower, the better. So now that I know my geofence or where I want to put it, I'm going to go ahead and draw it by clicking and placing points at every change in direction. And you just want to do that and create the complete box around the area. So since the Purdue arc is right here and it creates a walkway, this geofilter is very relevant to this area. And we're going to should also be explaining why the location or the geofilter is relevant to the area. You want to give that explanation in why is this location meaningful to you. It kind of helps Snapchat understand why you think it is, because it may not be apparent. Even though it shows a Purdue arc here, you want to make sure to explain that it's also located right here and why it's important. So we're going to go over back to our submission notes. If you don't have it, or you're just going to type it in, you could go ahead and type it in there. I'm going to go grab it. So now that we have our geofence, and then we also have uploaded our geofilter and put our information and the submission notes, we're going to scroll down. And if this was an event, you could uncheck this, and then you can select a specific time and date for this to show. But this is not an event. And you want to make sure that this is original artwork that you've created. And you also agree to the privacy policy, and then select You're Not a Robot. And you could go ahead and submit it. Just double check before you do that. And once you're ready, then you could go ahead and hit submit. Hey, so some time has passed now since submitting that geofilter and recording the first part of this video. And I thought I'd just hold off on finishing the video and then come back once the geofilter has been reviewed, so I could show you the emails and kind of see what you can expect when you submit your geofilter and what it looks like after it's been reviewed. So on the left, you'll see geofilter submission successful, and this is the first email you will receive right after you submit your geofilter. And you'll see your submission and submission notes. At the bottom, you'll see a little thing. You may or may not see this by now, but right now it says that geofilters outside the US are limited for now, and they're going to be expanding in the not too distant future. So on the right, we'll see geofilter activated, and this is going to be the email you'll receive if your geofilter has been reviewed and they accept it. And you'll see that there's a little note saying that geofilters will take several hours to show up. So basically, if you don't see it right away, just hold on and maybe restart your app or something like that, and it will show up. And it's just a recap of what you submitted. And then at the bottom, if they submitted this to me, or they sent this to me, but I'm not sure if they send this to everyone or what's the deal with this, but they will also invite you to submit designs for one of their series, and it says you've got skill, so maybe it's just people they select, I don't know, but there's an option there for some of you to design more geofilters for other cities. And so you're probably wondering how long this is going to take to get reviewed. So I mentioned in the first part of the video that it's taken me a week or two to get reviewed, and this was before the launch of on-demand geofilters, and those have really taken off, and because of their priority review status, it's kind of pushed community geofilters behind. So what used to take me a week or two now is taking me 5 weeks to get this one reviewed. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how long it's going to take to get yours reviewed, and not to worry if you don't get a response in a week or two. That for me, it did take some time, so just keep that in mind. So hopefully that helps and you've gotten a better idea of how to submit a community geofilter. And if you have any other questions, please let me know. And if you're looking for more information or videos on Snapchat geofilters, you can visit snapchatfilterdesign.com, and I have more videos and resources for you there as well. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.